Make these plans. We can make the plans to start the business. We can make the plans to write the book. We can have these plans, but what is the foundation? Right? What is the foundation? If the plans to start a business is because I'm tired of working for someone, that can be a great goal. However, what is the Lord calling me to do in this season? There is Kairos time and there is Chronos time. So we think about chronological order, putting things, from earliest to oldest or earliest to latest. We have chronological order, right? That is Chronos time. But then we also have Kairos, and Kairos are the moments that God has ordained for us. And so for myself, I am in a new space. My family and I are in a new space. And so although we are in a new year, that is Chronos time, we are also in a new season, and that is Kairos time. And so what we had to go through in September was a wrapping up of an old season. It was a wrapping up of the things that we had been through, even 10, 13 years, things just coming. It seemed as if it was falling apart, but what was happening was really breaking through. And I'm going to do another video talking about battles and breakthrough, because I want you to understand, when you feel immense amounts of pressure, sometimes you are on the other side of your breakthrough. And so that's what was happening. We were breaking through to the other side of a season. When we plan, it's important to partner with God, to partner with the Lord. Now, how do we do that? One of the ways that we can do that is by being still. Okay, so Psalms 46:10 reminds us that we are to be still and know. Be still and know that He is God. And now, what does that mean? So I remember last year, the Lord reminded me, gave this word to me as I was beginning to pack up some things, and I saw Him closing some doors. I saw Him closing some doors to opportunities that He opened up to me in that prior season. And He shared with me to be still and know. Be still in my spirit, be still in my mind, not anxious for what I'm seeing in this physical, but to be still and to know that He is God, to know that He is not only Lord and King, but He is also Abba. He is also my Father, right? And so when I know that He has my best interest at heart, when I know that He has good intentions for me, when I know that He is my source, when I know that He is taking care of me, then I don't have to stress or worry, but I do have to be aware of what He's doing. And in order to be aware, I must be still. So the way I do that is I sit and I spend time with Him, either in reflection, in prayer, just being still as I'm walking about. I like to go on my prayer walks in the afternoon, or just going about my day and walking with Him, walking with the Spirit of God. And so He will download information, download revelation, download confirmation, either in my day or in the hearing others speak, or someone may have a word to share or something, and they may not even know that, but they are confirming what He said to me. So I learned this as I became an entrepreneur, a kingdom entrepreneur. The more I spend time with Creator, the more creative I become. And the Bible lets us know to not be conformed to the patterns of this world. Now, the patterns of this world, the way I was conditioned was, you want to grind and you want to be ambitious. I love being ambitious. I am ambitious. That has not changed. But the way I execute is totally different. And so when we operate by the patterns of this world, we're always grinding because we're in panic mode. We're trying to produce something from panic, hoping that, and it's from a performance base. So if I do X, Y, and Z, then it's going to produce an outcome, right? But it's a little bit different when we are operating from a kingdom perspective. It does not mean that we don't set goals. It does not mean that we don't have strategy, because that's irresponsible, right? But we are to spend time, and as we are spending time, not because we want something, but we're spending time because we want to be right? We want to be that's what makes us whole. Being in the presence of God, spending time with the Lord is what makes us whole, is what fills us up, is what gives us clarity, is what brings us back to ourselves, is what reminds us of who we are. And so as we spend time with him, just to spend time with him, he reminds us who we are, and then the vision comes, and then the word comes, the word of knowledge comes, the vision may come, the strategy may come. You may be able to see either through vision like a film or a movie. You may hear a word, because we are prophetic people when we come back into alignment with God. And so when we come back into alignment, we can't help but hear or see or sense or feel or taste, because we are communing with the Spirit of God. This is one of the reasons why I love to call him Creator, because I know him as Creator. So for example, I am Skudore Wokan, and my Indian name is Red-tailed Hawk. Now, my family, my cousins will call me, they know me as Red-tailed Hawk. But if I am, going into a bank, they don't know me. They know me as Latanya Baruch. But if I am working with a client, they know me as a coach. And so I've not changed who I was, but they know me by association, right? And so because I know him by associating with him, I know that he's my source. I know that he's my creator. I know that he is king and that he is Lord. I know that he is my father. I know that he is my healer. I know that he is my deliverer. I know that he is my source for every resource that I have and will have. I know that because I have associated with him, and I have found in those situations that he has proven himself. Therefore, I can't help but acknowledge him as creator, as my source, as my foundation, as my refuge, as my shelter, as my healer, as my friend, right? And so that's what happens when we spend time with the Lord. One of the things that we will have to do in this process is renew our mind. And the reason why is because we live in this world, and so we are conditioned to operate by the patterns of this world, okay? And that means we are in many cases performance-based. I know I was conditioned to be performance-based, right? Not just from my environment, right? Being a strong woman, but also the age that we live in. Women being ambitious, being a boss, right? I was always told to be strong and told to, be able to manage money, being able to do those things. Going to school, I was taught that I could do anything I put my mind to. So just being conditioned to that, right? But there comes a time when we have to renew our mind, because sometimes the things that we think about ourselves from past experiences, the traumas that we held on to, or even the residue from the traumas that we experienced. Maybe we healed from it, but there's a mindset or a limiting belief that we've held on to that is causing us to become stagnant when it comes to moving forward. Right? And businessman, businesswoman actually means a man of faith. And if you are going to start a business, you are going to have to be a person of faith. Why? Because you're going to have to produce something from the invisible realm, what you see in your spirit, in your mind's eye, and manifest it into the natural realm. You're going to have to feel and sense it in such a way that it motivates you to produce that thing. It lures you out of lack. It lures you out of scarcity. It lures you out of nothingness and pushes you into productivity. And so that is the power of imagination. But if we are not renewing our mind, we can have these mental blocks, these mental barriers, these limiting belief systems. Now, a few of the things that can help us to come out of those is dealing with those, addressing and dealing with those limiting beliefs. Self-reflection. Why do I think the thoughts that I think, right? Working on that. I recommend daily, however you want to do your downtime, whether that's journaling before you go to bed or journaling when you wake up in the morning. But take a few moments to think about the first things that come to mind in the morning. Why are they coming to your mind? Are they true? Weighing those thoughts against the Word of God. The Bible lets us know that we are to think on those things that are praiseworthy, that are of good report, that are trustworthy. I found that verse helped me so much when it came to getting rid of anxiety, healing from anxiety, because I used to think about all the things that I have to do, all the things that I need to get done, because I was ambitious, very ambitious, and I still am, but differently now. And so I would push myself and press myself and stress myself trying to produce something out of performance, not understanding that when I know God, I trust God to, as I step out, He is going to deliver. As I step out, He is going to show Himself. As I step out, He is going to reveal Himself. He's going to reveal the resources. He's going to reveal the answer. He's going to reveal the community. He's going to do those things as I step out in faith. So it should not be performance based. It should be faith based. When we renew our minds, you are going to have the challenge of stepping out in new communities. If you are part of communities that are not going in the place that you're going, and they're pulling you back, they're always reminding you of the things you used to do, the person you used to be. Oh, you're too boring now, you're too old now, you're too this now, you're no fun anymore. You always want to talk about the Lord now. You have to check your communities. This is important for us to understand. When we go into a new season, that does not give license to hate anyone. Everybody is not in your life for life. Individuals come into your life for a season to teach you things, but it does not mean that you have to burn the bridge. But it means that, listen, if I'm going into a new season, that person, it's important to let them know I'm going into a new season. The Lord is calling me here. And I might not be available. It's not intentionally. I still love you. I still care for you. But where He's leading me, I'm not quite sure if I'll be around the way I used to be. And so we have to figure out how to navigate that space. Anytime God is going to do anything in your life, it's important to understand that there is going to be a new routine. It's going to call for a new rhythm. So the rhythm that I had when my children were toddlers is a different rhythm that I have as they are teenagers. The freedom that I had when they were toddlers is different from the freedoms that I have now. And this is why it's important to understand the season, because if I was doing what I did now when they were toddlers, it would be out of order. And how many know that God is a God of order? Okay, Creator is the God of order. All right. Now, it's important as you are spending time and you are sitting with Him, you will get blueprints. I really recommend having a journal, having a notebook, so you can write down what you see, what you sense, what you feel, what you hear, and that those senses are more developed the more you spend time with Him. Setting goals is how you will get to those places. So, for example, one of the things that I'm working on is a journal. And I'm creating journals this year, and I have to set time aside, blocks of time aside for me to create the journal, for me to produce the journal, for me to upload the journal, right? And so I've always been an entrepreneur, but in this season, He's called me to even coach entrepreneurs, and that's why I started this YouTube channel. And so as I am doing that, as I am stepping out, He is bringing the community to me because I am stepping forward in what He has for me. Now, I love to make money and I love math. And when math is not mathing, I naturally want to go back. I naturally want to go back to what was comfortable, back to what I know. And my going back is not necessarily sinful, but it's going back to a job. And so He's teaching me how to create streams. And in creating streams, right, I'm able to help more people the way that I really want to help more people. I can't help the way I want to help working a job. I can keep the lights on, but I can't help the way I want to help. And so He's honored that desire. He's given me that desire, but He's also given me a way to create streams that will enable me to give on the levels that I really want to give. In order to do that, we have to set goals. We have to have accountability. This is where groups or community is important. This is where mentorship is important, right? But then setting 90-day goals. What is it that if I'm going to write, let's say I'm going to start a new journal. Then my 90-day goal is within 90 days, I'm going to produce another journal, And so that means that every month, let's say the first month, I'm going to come up with the topic. I'm going to come up with the colors. I'm going to come up with the pages I want. And I'm going to begin to find the scriptures or find the prompts that I want to work in. Let's say in month 2, I'm going to be able to compile all of that information in an orderly way. I'm going to put the colors in there. And then in month 3, I'm going to tie everything in, going to check all the pages. I'm going to do the fillings and make it pretty, the final touches, so that it will be produced in 90 days. And so you don't try to do it all in 1 week. You set a goal. So that means if my goal is to produce 4 journals this year, right? Then that lets me know every 90 days I'll be doing that same process. So what you want to do is you want to look at your outcome, and then you want to come back and make small steps toward the outcome. It's going to be the habits and the lifestyle that is going to keep us consistent. You may say to yourself, my power and strength of my hands have produced this wealth for me. But remember, the Lord, that's Adonai, your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth, and so confirms His covenant, which He swore to your ancestors as it is today. But how does He give us the ability to produce wealth? This is how you know He's given you the ability and He's given you the grace, because He will give you time. He will give you time. He will give you energy, and He will give you a space. He will send resources your way. And so I learned this years and years ago when He was taking me into entrepreneurship. He was giving me the ability to produce wealth, because although working at a corporate gym, it was great, it helped pay the bills, but He was teaching me He was teaching me how to operate in the gifts. And so what happened was He gave me the resources. He gave me clients that wanted to train differently. He gave me a space within my living room to train. And my car, the car at the time was no longer working. It went down. And so although I was trying to remain there at the place I was working, because I loved it, I love work. But He was showing me that He was teaching me how to operate and not to work. That's totally different. When you operate, there is a flow. Okay, as I'm doing this video, there is a flow to it because I'm operating. It's not like work to me. There's a flow to it. And so in learning that, I created, he gave me the ability to produce wealth, and I ended up making more money than I ever had before. And so as He gives you strategy, as He gives you the desire of your heart, He will give your heart what to desire, right? And as we step out on that and we renew our mind, we do the work, and we walk with Him, and we remain steadfast, He will keep us in peace, but He will also guide us step by step. I look forward to seeing you all again. And until next time, live beautiful.